3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics, and it's another Sunday night. The election still hasn't been officially called. How many days after it is it? 6 days? Is my count right? And England team's streaming over me again. It's like I schedule my stream specifically during the times when he doesn't stream, and he decides, oh, hey, I'm got some extra streams to do, so I'll fill in that time. Yeah. So, did you guys see? Speaking of election not being over, there's something that was going on today, and I was all excited. I was going to get to do it on my stream, and then it got fixed. I was like, damn it. So if you had an Apple device, iPhone or an iPad, and you use Siri, and you said, hey Siri, how old is the president of the United States?
Donald Trump is 74 years old.
And so now that's what it says. But just a real short time ago, it was saying something different, and I think Twitter blasted them all off of my thing. But you would ask Siri, and there was like a ton, like it was all over. If you said how old is the president of the United States, it would say Kamala Harris is 54 years, or was it 56? One of the two, 54 or 56 years old, and you're like, what? What? Oh man, what a foobar. It's just like they're just so bad. They're so brazen about what they're doing. They just they don't even try to hide it until it gets like thrown in their face. They're like, oh yeah, I guess it kind of looks bad. It's like, and people go, oh Ash, you're just overreacting, like that was just a glitch or something. What do you mean it's just a glitch? How does the potentially incoming VP of the United States get entered into the database for when you query who the president is? That doesn't make, there's like, that's not a glitch. That's, if you understand how databases work, that information has to be put into that part of the database. And then so a query is done, which is what Siri does when you ask it. Siri cross-references database fields, President of the United States, age, it pops up that data, and then it feeds. This is why you can't use Siri offline, because she has to talk to the server. Yes, Siri's really annoying when you don't have internet. You're like, you just ask basic things like, I don't know, like how big is the earth or something, and she's like, I don't know, I can't. She's useless. But yeah, that was funny. If it had said something crazy, like previous president, like if it said Obama or something, then I would be like, okay, that seems like something, the data was just wrong. But there's no reason Kamala Harris should come up at all unless someone put that in there. And then also, why is it not Joe Biden? And why has the Democratic Party been caught multiple times saying Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States? It's almost like there's a script out there that, like, there's a plan. We're going to make this all happen. We're going to put the pieces together to roll out the thing that we want to happen. But it hasn't happened yet. And sometimes things go awry, right? Like, oh shit, like this thing happened. And so then they maybe fall on backup plans. But like the plan, it's just like when, Trump won and there was pieces out there saying Hillary had won, things like that, because, that was what they expected. And I promise you, I'm not going to go all on to political talk tonight, but I just wanted to do, I thought that was going to be real funny to do. And I just knew in the back of my mind, I was like, I think it was like 4 hours to go still before showtime. And I was like, they're going to have that fixed. Sure enough, I tested it like 10 minutes before the show, and it's like, damn it. I wanted you guys to hear it. I wanted it like posterity. There's something special about it when you witness something with your own senses. You can hear people tell you about conspiracy theories or crazy stuff, But when you come across stuff and you just witness it in real time for yourself, it affects you. At least affects me. So how are you guys doing tonight? Lord is first. What's going on, Lord? You're never first. Melissa is second. She congratulates Lord because she's always a good sport. Eric Breen is here. Well, actually, he's not here. He came by for a split second to show me his support, which I guess I appreciate. He stayed up too late, so now he can't stay up tonight. Damn it, Eric. You're supposed to stay up late on the nights that I stream. And Zach is here. It's good to see you, Zach. I appreciate you choosing me over E. I really did try to schedule. I know that a lot of my audience I share with England Teen. So, I mean, this isn't even the original schedule I was doing my story times on. But the original schedule I was doing, like, it conflicted with things he was doing. I said, you know what? I don't want to try to drag his audience to mine. Because that's what I'd be doing, right? A lot of you guys are over there. And I don't... It's not that I think I'm better, I'm going to crush his show. That's not the case at all. I just don't even want there to be... anyone have to make a decision. Like, it's just, why don't we just schedule around each other? Perfectly fine. So I moved my show. So that's why I'm a little frustrated and sound a little butthurt. Plus, I'm a little bit moody because of what's been happening in the world. And a lot of people go, oh, you're just butthurt at Trump's no winning. It's not even really about Trump. I didn't really want Trump to win in 2016. I just didn't want Hillary Clinton to win. And this year, yes, I do want Trump to win because for the past 4 years, I think he's done a really good job. I mean, I've been alive through 7 presidents, and he's the best. Maybe not Reagan. I mean, Reagan's the only one that might give him a run for his money, in my view. But it's not about that. It's just about, I don't want to live in a country. I don't want to live in a banana republic where the elections are just decided for us and we just go through fake motions and we can't trust who the winner is and our votes don't matter. That really upsets me. If all of America voted for Biden for whatever reason, because they were misled or whatever, I could accept that. I was really upset when Obama won twice, but I could accept it. Like, I feel the people wanted him to be president, and it's not my call. I really do believe in, freedom of the people to vote and so forth. And I just hope that we will learn from our mistakes, but I don't think that's what's happening here. I don't think this is just a case of like, oh, the people chose poorly, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that's it at all. There's just a mountain of evidence. Speaking of which, I do this thing that I should never, ever, ever do, which is get in an argument online with SJWs, hard leftists, because and the reason why I say I should never do that is because they're always disingenuous. Always. I keep trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I keep kind of going, he's just going to be someone who's going to never. It's like batting 1,000. And so this person came on, and they were talking about, I forget exactly what it was, but just the election or whatever. And I was like, basically I was talking about the fraud, and they're like, there's no election fraud. Get over it, you loser, type of thing. And I responded, well, actually there's tons of fraud. Like, it's all around us. It's plainly evident. And then they responded back like, oh yeah, we'll prove it. And so I did. Okay, I didn't prove it, but I presented mountains of evidence. I think I responded 13 times with pieces of evidence that if they don't outright prove fraud, they are super compelling to the point where you should at least stop and say, we need to investigate this. Any honest person would say, you know what, this doesn't prove it, but this is damning evidence. We need to look further. And anytime I see someone that won't even reach that level, look, because I'm admitting this doesn't prove to you. I'm admitting that's just evidence. So you meet me the other half of the way and say, okay, yeah, that is evidence. Let's take a look together. When you're like, no, I don't even want to look at it. That just shows me you're intellectually dishonest. So I sent them 13 posts of various different election fraud cases all across the country, from various sources, not just one. And I'm pretty sure I didn't use Fox News once. And of course, the typical response is, oh, rolling eyes, like, oh, from that person, oh, it's just so, it's like, whenever you're leftist, anything that contradicts their worldview is like fake news to them. Like, it's just, nothing, you can't show them anything except like CNN, MSNBC, or New York Times. I showed someone the New York Post once, and they were like, oh, that's just conservative bullshit. I was like, what? The New York Post? Oh my God. But if you don't post, and then there's even times where I've showed people like New York Times articles, and they like, well, it's New York Times. I was like, what would you qualify? Like, what is credible to you? It's and the truth is nothing. What's credible is actually their worldview. If it agrees, if Fox News agreed with them, if Fox News came out and said Trump was the most awful president ever and everyone should vote for Biden, you'd watch leftists turn around and just be like, Fox News is the greatest. And that's one of the things I said too. I said, it's funny because he quoted to me, some Trump appointee said that the election wasn't fraud, which doesn't mean anything. One person having an opinion that there wasn't a crime doesn't actually mean that's not proof that there wasn't a crime, right? You don't go to court and be like, well, this Joey guy over here says the crime didn't happen. And the judge goes, all right, case closed, because he said there was no crime. Like, that's what, but he tried to throw it at me like, he's a Trump appointee. And I was like, it's so funny how every time anything out of the Trump administration is just a lie and it's just bullshit, no matter what it is, until it says something against Trump, until it goes against whatever Trump is. And then it's amazing how this person is gospel, could not possibly be telling a lie, couldn't possibly be wrong. Remember like James Comey, right? When he was investigating like Hillary Clinton and stuff and Trump, and they were all the fucking leftists hate, oh, James Comey, he needs to be fired. He's terrible. He's awful. And then Trump fired him. And then all of a sudden, James Comey was this leftist hero. I was like, just, it's crazy. It's so crazy, the mental gymnastics they go to. Anyways, so the point of this story was I posted all these things and then they blocked me. It's like, you asked me to prove it. You said, prove it. And here you go. And then block. I just hate that disingenuous. I give people the benefit of the doubt. And look, I'm very opinionated. I'm very bullheaded. I'm very blunt. Sometimes I'm not tactful, and sometimes maybe I'm annoying. I push buttons. I don't mean to, honestly. I just have strong opinions. But if you come back at me and you engage and you're like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about this or whatever, and I re-engage, like, don't be dishonest. Like, just, if you're going to be bad faith actor, just go away. Because I'm too much, I give people too much of the benefit of the doubt. And then they always burn me. Zach Richmond says, finally got myself a computer that I can work and game on. Nice. Is it called Computer Robots? Eric says, if you'd shown up to help with my yard work like you said you were going to, I might not be half dead right now. Eric, I'm glad you're still here. I don't actually know if you're still here because I can't tell if you left, but I'm sorry I slept in. So now I'm criticizing you for being tired and wanting to go to bed because you didn't sleep in. I'm such a hypocrite. I'm sorry. But hey, at least I admit that I'm a hypocrite. Zach says, wait, he is doing a stream later? You asshole. Melissa says she loves Reagan, Nixon, and Trump. I'm not too big on Nixon, but he's better than history painted him. He just did some really stupid things. He should have never tried to hide those tapes. That was dumb. Ash, woke SJW, communist, Marxist, and goddamn illiterate idiots. Ease down, Melissa. I didn't mean to trigger you. I'm drinking some wine tonight. Some of that Walking Dead wine. They have 3 flavors, 3 kinds, 3 varieties. That's the right way to talk when you talk about wine, not flavors. Jesus, listen to me. I sound like a Eric Breen or something. I gotta have my pinky out. 3 varieties, and this one is the Cabernet. What is it called? Oh, the Sauvignon Blanc. That's what it's called. And I'm not typically a white wine drinker. Preferred, like, I do like a few white wines. I do like Chardonnays. That's the white wine I like. And so I was like, Cabernet Sauvignon is one of my favorite wines, absolutely, which is the bottle I haven't cracked yet because they have a regular Cabernet. So the Sauvignon Blanc, it's okay. It's just okay. I don't really understand the point of a Sauvignon Blanc. Let's see. Eric said, Joey said there was no election fraud. Take that, Ash. Damn it. Where's Joey when you need him? Cowboy Bebop, Jet Black, English dub voice actor, botted me for speaking out against BLM and the communist Marxist far left. Yeah, well, that's what they're going to do. So the leftist does. The leftist does not want counter information. When you are on the side of programming people, which is what the left does, they just want everyone to get lockstep in line. And if you don't believe me, just look at every hard leftist regime ever. You can look at Soviet Union. Let's look at Nazi Germany. Let's look at Maoist China. Let's look at modern day China. Let's look at North Korea. Take your pick. I'm sure there's some others out there. Every single one makes people follow the party line. You must agree with the line they say. And if you don't, you can actually be thrown in jail for various reasons, up to and including treason. China does this all the time. People speak out against, just having an opinion against what the state's doing, you can get thrown in jail. And so, that's why you saw historically in the past with Germany, like all the book burning. Yeah, you saw in the early 20th century to the mid 20th century, you would see dystopian future stories, books, movies, etc. Most famous of which might be Fahrenheit 451, which is about book burning, because that was the primary way that the people got information, was books. Obviously, today's a lot different. Today, people get so much information through the internet. And so I think a lot of the stories could have never conceived this, except for one, the god of dystopian futures, George Orwell, 1984, one of my favorite books of all time. Not because it was the most fun book. It's certainly not. It's quite a horror story. It's actually really terrifying today's day and age. But the fact that he predicted back in like I think it was the 30s when he wrote that book. It was in the early half of the 20th century he wrote that book, and he predicted that people would wake up every day and connect to a view screen that would give them their information. Now, it wasn't exactly like the way we perceive the internet today, but holy crap, you can see the analogy. If you read that book with today's set of eyes, you're like, it's the internet. And every house had a screen that had a camera on it, and Big Brother watched you, and every day you had to tune in. You had to tune in. If you didn't, Big Brother would know, and then they would investigate, find out what's wrong. You better had some sort of good reason, and you had to follow. You'd go through your morning propaganda to keep your attitude in line. They would give you the news, so that they shaped how you thought. Yeah, it was really scary. There's a lot I could talk about. I don't want to go into the 1984 thing, but if you have not read that book, everyone, especially if you live in Western culture, everyone needs to read that book. It explains, when you see the machinations of authoritarians and the things that they're doing, and you're just like, what's the end game? Why is it happening like this? Like, it just seems stupid. Why do we want corruption? Why? That book explains the end game. Like, and it's scary because, everyone essentially die. Like, it doesn't help anyone, but you learn the mindset of why people essentially vote for their own demise. It's profound. It's one of the most profound books I've ever read, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Ronnie says, I'm here to support both my favorite live streamers. Well, there's only one me here, Maranya. So, unless you're talking about Eric, but he's not on the channel with me. Oh, you're watching another live stream at the same time. I see how that is. Well, surprisingly, I'm doing pretty decent. Just despite Englentine trying to stream over me. So I guess I feel encouraged on that. Thank you guys for being here, regardless if you're two-timing me or not. I just appreciate every view. I know that I'm not some sort of superstar. I'm just some schmo who likes comics, who has some political opinions from time to time, likes to have a nice beverage, and talk with friends, because I don't have a lot in real life, not at least that share my same feelings. I'm actually roommates right now with one of my best friends ever, but there's a lot of things we just don't talk about because we have differing worldviews. And that's a good thing. Like it's a testament to being able to live, like with other people. You don't have to all think the same and be like, oh, you don't like Trump? Well, I'm disowning you. I just see these stories on Twitter. People like, my family is all into Trump. I just, I can't stand it. I'm like, you would disown your family over a presidential, what? There hasn't been a president that bad. I mean, I hated Obama, but I wouldn't abandon my friends and family if they were all Obama lovers. I would be like, you guys are foolish, like you're being deceived. But I'd be like, whatever, you're still my buds, like you're my friend. Crazy. I just don't understand that mentality at all. Eric says Fox suspended Janine Pirro for calling attention to the voter fraud allegations. What? Fox is finished as a credible news. Well, they haven't been a credible news outlet for a while. During the Bush administration, I got woke up. The second half of the Bush administration, I got woke up. And I got turned on to a guy named Ron Paul. And I became a supporter of his, and I eventually even became a delegate of his. Supported him during his 2 runs. He lost crazy the first time, but in the second time in 2012, when he ran against Obama, and that was the year that Mitt Romney ran, Ron Paul was on course to take the election. He was going to pull a delegate victory, much like Reagan pulled out back in 1980, which Ron Paul was on his campaign staff. And for those of you that don't remember, Reagan wasn't really projected to win in the primaries. He wasn't super popular, but his delegates were dedicated. And when you go to a convention, all things are up in the air because the delegates get to vote how they want. And you send the delegates to the convention. And Ron Paul was just quietly racking up delegates in 2012. And it came down, there was only 2 people, Ron Paul and Mitt Romney. And that was a big shock to me because Ron Paul was this big black, dark horse type candidate. And I supported him just because I felt it was the right thing to do. I didn't expect him to be a super strong contender. And I was like, holy shit, this dude can win. Holy shit. And I started feeling really bad because I was like, I can't get to Florida. That's where the convention was. I was like, I can't get to Florida. I'm a delegate. And turned out it didn't matter because the Republicans shysted him, didn't invite him to the convention. Completely pulled a bullshit, hey, it's just Romney, we're just handing it to Romney, nothing to see here. And of course, most of your average voters don't even pay attention to the candidates until it's the main run. Like, they don't really know who ran against who to get to where. They just know, oh, it's this guy. Okay. And they just pay attention to the news. But I, of course, being heavily involved, I was paying attention. And Fox News, of course, being, like, hey, we're the conservative news outlet. Yes, they are when it's against Obama. They're like the heavy criticism. They get those ratings. All the Obama haters were like, yeah, but when it was Republican against Republican, I watched those guys shill such fake news for Romney that it fucking disgusted me. I used to have the video footage. This is back in 2012. And I don't think I have it anymore, but I used to like keep all the video because YouTube was a different animal back then and stuff, and there wasn't Twitter. I mean, there was Twitter, but it's not like everything was today. So I was like downloading videos on the internet, making my own compilation videos, showing how Fox would edit live footage and then report it back later as something else. Like they did this thing where they put a different audio track over Ron Paul's like speech to make the applause seem different. I was like, are you fucking crazy? The shit that Fox pulled was crazy, even like in today's era. Like today's era, like the news is like, we just tell the news, we frame it differently. It's not really a lie. We just frame it so that we know you're going to interpret it a certain way, but technically, if you interpret it this other way, it wasn't really a lie. That's kind of how they do it. This was a flat out case of where like Ron Paul give a speech and everyone would cheer and uproar and be like, "Raw!" And then Fox News would go in and take that sound out and put in mild clapping so that when Romney would speak and it would, and I was like, this is fucking blatant, like manipulation, mind programming bullshit. Fox News got called out on it. Whatever. Just whatever. And, and CNN and those guys, they didn't care because they just like to watch the conservatives eat themselves. So I got really pissed. And it woke me up to Fox News. So I guarantee you, I have known all this time that Fox News is bullshit. However, real is real. And this is my take on it, right? I understand that you might have an agenda. If I understand your agenda, it helps me see through your lies. If CNN throws out a video of Donald Trump in the middle of the street murdering children, that's like real footage. It's not like, oh, that didn't happen because it's CNN. Now, of course, you could say, well, maybe it's a doctor. Let's just say it's not doctor. Let's say we can authenticate. It's like it's real. I'm not going to discount it because of where the source came from. Now, I will be leery and skeptical at first, like, wait, what are you going to show me? And so I take that way. Anyone can show facts. And the truth be told, even the biggest fake news guys, I mean, they do show facts from time to time. It's just learning how to sift through it. So Fox is kind of that way. And I tend to be that way too. It's like I know when Fox is saying good things about Trump, I kind of take that with a grain of salt because I'm like, oh, that's your bias. Like, I listen to Fox News to get the reporting on what used to be Obama that none of the other outlets would say. They would all just sweep it under the rug and be like, whatever. And I'd be like, well, the only person who's going to report on it, period, is Fox. I have to listen to that. And it used to be the opposite. I would listen to CNN and, the others like criticize Bush, and so forth. But they're so completely off the pale now. Like they're just nonstop lying that they just fabricate the news at this point. I mean, I've literally watched them get on air and say, Donald Trump said this, and it totally made up. Not at all. Never happened. They do it so much that they have Donald Trump believing he did things. One of the most egregious things is CNN has been accusing Donald Trump. He's been saying that Donald Trump told us to inject bleach to fight COVID. That never, ever happened. But it's so egregious that on the debates, Biden threw that in Trump's face and said, "Oh, you said inject bleach," and Trump had to stop and pause. You watch this happening because like, huh? And he's like, it was a joke. Well, that's because Trump knows he wouldn't have seriously said that because he didn't seriously say that. He didn't say it at all. So he's thinking, well, shit, I'm an old guy. Maybe, did I say something like that? Like, I say a lot of things, like, oh, I know I wouldn't have meant it. So I can say it was a joke because obviously if I did say it, it would have been. Like, so he can throw it off like that, but it doesn't look good for the peers because now, instead of him being like, I never said that, prove it. And then everyone will be like, oh, shit, we can't prove it because that footage doesn't exist. But they do. They do it all the time. And if you don't confront it, you just accept it and say, well, shit, CNN said that happened. It must have happened. They wouldn't just come out and be like, Donald Trump said that he's, from outer space if he wasn't. Anyways, sorry, I'm just on a ramble. Eric says, may I go sleepy? Bye-bye yet, Ash? Yes, you can go, Eric. I'm glad that you were here. I'm not sure if you're here anymore. Gateway says, yo, man, what's up? That's Gateway into Comics, a.k.a. Chase. He's a good guy. He used to have a more regular YouTube channel, but he's super busy, not like me. But if you guys should check out his channel, I love when he does reviews of books and talks about writing. Talk about writing, Gateway, when you do your books. Quit talking about X-Men. And I like when I'm saying this as a fan. I like it when you break down the stuff that you love about writing. Like flip open a book that you love. Gateway's really good. I don't know why I call him gateway. Chase is really good when he picks something. He's not reviewing it, but he's like advocating for it. Like he finds the gold and is like, look, I found this gold. Here's why it's gold. Here's why you should invest in it. Like, and then he's really good at selling that. So that's my feedback for you, Chase. That's what I like to hear from you. Hopefully I'll get to see you have more time in the future, but I don't mean that in a way that I hope that your life crumbles, that all you have is time to do videos. Geez, the wine's getting to me. He says, I watch YouTube for 95% of my news and commentary. I'm the most informed about politics between all of my peers in real life. Watching only mainstream news makes someone a pretty low information voter. That is true. That is true. What I try to do, I do listen to a lot of YouTube because the big media outlets aren't going to host anyone credible. But what I also try to do is not just pick random people on YouTube. I always pay attention to everyone that I listen to that's providing me news sources. I pay attention and see if they provide counter sources to that bias. So, for example, if I see someone reporting information on a YouTube channel doing stuff, and they're talking about Trump, whether good or bad, I don't care. But I want to see, do they report fairly on the opposite side? If they do that, then I'm more inclined to listen to them because they're not just, a one-dimensional, dummy, just a shill like, they're only going to tell you. I want people who are unafraid to show the bad side of whatever they might be biased to, because we're all biased, right? I'm biased towards Trump. I don't want to discover like, oh shit, Trump is faking everything. Like, I don't want to find that. But if it was, my desire to know the truth about things outweighs my bias. And hopefully there's people online reporting that. Let's see. Computer Robots is here too. He says, if Joe Biden wins, I know Ash is going to move to Nigeria. No. Breen asking permission to go to sleep. LOL. Right. True Skills is here. He says, what's up, Ash? I say, what's up back to you. And Dragon says, what comics? And I say, what comics? Comics? There's no comics here. It's a story time. This is where Ash just tells you a story about an election. Sorry. Let's see. Tucker Carlson is all I watch from Fox. AON has a lot of hotties, but not being American, I don't watch either much. You know what I've been watching quite a bit lately is Sky News. The Australian edition. It's interesting, actually. Foreign news, like reporting on us, seems to be, I mean, it's biased in its own ways, but it's biased in a different way because, they don't benefit from one party per se. They obviously have Australian interests, right? But it's, so you can get some interesting perspectives that way. Again, it's always just important to know the bias of whatever you're watching. I used to watch RT like years ago. They kind of went off the deep end, but that's a Russian news outlet. I would know, I was conscious that, hey, this is a Russian news outlet. They don't have my interests at heart, but that doesn't mean they don't show the news. And sometimes when they would show things that I knew was being censored, again, it's learning how to filter it properly. And then, cross-reference, get second opinions. Don't just take everything as gospel. Oh, RT said it, so it's true. And like, no, it's like, who else is saying it, right? RT said it and CNN is saying it? Sketchy. Things like that. Let's see. You need to play some Mario Kart 8 as relaxation. Stay mentally strong, Melissa. Eric is sleeping. Good night, Eric. I'm probably late to that. By the time he says he's going to sleep and I address it, it's like an hour ago he did it. Eric gets all his news from Joey. I'm having fun exposing the far left communist Marxists for the hypocrites that they truly are. Yeah. You know what's funny? If you like exposing videos, there's one that I came on to in the past 4 months, I would say, called Fleckus Talks. He's a young guy. I'll put it in the chat here. For those of you, it's called Fleckus Talks, and he's a young guy, and most of his content is like man on the street stuff, and he'll go to like universities, and he just asks people questions. He tries to get them to open up about their feelings and their viewpoints and things like that, and he doesn't really argue with them. I mean, sometimes he'll ask, questions to like shape where it's going, but don't you think this type of stuff? But mostly he just lets them hang themselves. You just watch. The best ones that he does is when he goes to like the gay pride parades and stuff, and he'll go up to them and be like, "Oh, hey, so what's going on here?" And they'll talk like, "Oh, we're having gay pride," and and he'll be like, "Well, so what are you guys doing? Like, what's the point of the celebration?" "Oh, we're here to celebrate love and tolerance and acceptance and just letting people be each other and not hating everyone, and there's too much hate in the world, and we just want everyone to be love." And he'll be like, "Oh, okay, that sounds really great. I can get down with that." And this is like when Trump was in the hospital with COVID. He's like, Trump, our president's currently in the hospital. He got COVID. What do you think? Do you want to maybe send some like well wishes to say get well soon or whatever? And then they were, "Fuck Trump, fuck that dude." They get all triggered. Like right after they're like talking about how we need to be all peaceful and love and accepting people. And it's like, you're just a bunch of hypocrites. You're just a bunch of hate mongers. It's funny. And again, that wasn't me taking a slight to say gay people are awful. It was hypocrites are bad. Take that part away. Don't read into what I'm saying. Not that you guys would do that, but maybe there's someone. Let's see. Zach says, "Oh God, Ultimate Alliance 3 was garbage." All right, I guess I saved some money. But Computer Robot says I need to play it, so I don't know what to feel. I'm torn. You two fight to the death. Let's see who gets which game I pick. Computer says, "I respectfully disagree with you, Zach. I think it's an awesome experience." As Computer locks Zach out of the airlock. "Computer Robots, let me in. Open the pod bay doors." "I'm sorry, Zach. I'm afraid I can't do that." You guys get that reference? Whoever gets that reference gets a brownie button. That will impress me. Let's see. Zach says, the character story okay, but it's nowhere near as cool as the original. Computer Robot says, "Play it." You guys are entertaining as hell. Zach says, "I will not be aliened out of this game debate." I've been playing. What have I been playing? I've been playing. I don't know if you guys heard of a game called Ark Survival Evolved. That's a game that gets most of my free game time. It's like open world survival game where there's dinosaurs. You can tame the dinosaurs. If you don't tame the dinosaurs, they'll eat you. Like, it's pretty deadly. But it's a fun game. It's nice to chill out and relax. You can you got a big giant world, and you can build a base, and you got to find food and water and shelter, and dinosaurs are roaming around. They're trying to eat you, so you got to build walls and protection. And you can play it with other players. I just play it. My friend hosts a server, and we just play it by ourselves, so we don't have to have people coming and killing us. But if you play in a public server, then you have other people you have to worry about that might come kill you. But we just like to chill out. Lord gets the brownie button. 2001 Space Odyssey is the answer. Right on. Speaking of the right answer, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. He passed. He seemed like a really cool guy. I try not to give too much attention to celebrities. That actually is something that really bothers me. I think every life matters, whether you're Chadwick Boseman or you're some homeless dude on the street. I don't think it's more tragic that Chadwick died than... I actually think it's less tragic, actually. I think Chadwick had a really, really good life, and it sucks that he died, and I feel bad for his family. I'm not making light of it, but the dude led a really good life, and he was a millionaire. He got to do something really fun. Like, I feel really bad actually for the dude sleeping under a bridge that gets pneumonia and dies, and no one even cares. So sorry to bring this chat down. But yeah, that's just me being transparent with how my sentimentality is. So if you never see me like getting all upset, like, oh my God, it really bothers me. Like when Eddie Van Halen died recently, like Van Halen's one of the first bands I ever listened to. I've been a Van Halen fan forever. When Eddie Van Halen died, sucked, made me feel old, but I didn't understand the people just freaking out. I'm like, dude, like, he's just a dude like everyone else, and he led a really fucking, I hate this word, but like privileged life. Like, he's not the guy that I'm crying for. Let's see. Zach says, I played Ark for a bit when it first came out. Oh, it's a lot better. When it first came out, it was really buggy and everything. They've got lots of new maps and things to the game. Lots of quality of life enhancements. And if you play it on the PC, which is what I started doing, I used to play it on the Xbox, which was plenty fun. But now I'm playing on the PC. You can do mods, and the mods, you can get some really cool stuff to the game. Let's see. Computer Robot says, for me, I really love the gameplay mechanics and the variety of character abilities. I'm assuming you're talking about Marvel Alliance 3. Computer Robots, what I want to hear from you is why Marvel Alliance 3 is better than 1 and 2. Because I liked 1 and 2, but 3 looks like a little iffy to me. And I play other games like that. Like, I'm a huge Diablo player, which Marvel Alliance kind of gets its thing from. I really like Diablo a lot. There's other games of that nature. Like, they just had Torchlight 3 just released. I haven't tried that out. But I like the first two Torchlights. There's a free game that you can get that's like Diablo. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Path of Exile. Path of Exile is really fun. That's free. Completely free, and it's quality. It's not one of those free to play games where it's like, hey, it's kind of okay until you give us tons of money. It's not like that at all. Like, all the pay stuff is like cosmetic. So, yeah, anyways. Zach says he's the new writer on Iron Man. He also can't take any criticism. The question was, who is Chris Cantwell? Yeah, we like to call him Christopher Can't Write Well. You can see my review of Iron Man #1, which apparently has only gotten worse with Iron Man #2, which I haven't read yet, but ooh. Let's see. Computer Robot says, I have to admit that the first 2 are better games, but at the same time, 3, I think, is a decent story, but is better than what the SG was producing. Okay. Well, I'm mad because I used to play 1 and 2, and I have 1 and 2, and then they shut down the servers, and you can't play them because it's online only. So you bought the game, even if you spent money on all the extra characters, which I did spend some money to get some extra characters, so I'm a little bit annoyed. So I'm not wanting to get into 3. Let's see. Cantwell told me to F off when I said I want to see Iron Man written like a superhero. Wow. Is that all you said? Like, you said it in that way? You'd be like, Mr. Cantwell, I just really want to see Iron Man written like a superhero. Do you think you could do that? Fuck off. I don't think it went down that way, but it makes for a more dramatic story when you put it in that way. No matter what privileged life he had, he was able to make himself a made man, says Lord. I'm not sure who you're referring to, but I'm sure it's a privileged person. So, yes, I guess I agree. Ronnie says, Cantwell is so bad on Iron Man that I almost want Bendis to write for him again. That's really bad. Like, seriously, when you're just like, can we get Slot back or Bendis? like, it's not a high bar. It's not a high bar, right? It's not like you're coming on to Daredevil after Frank Miller just did it. And you're like, oh, fuck, what the hell do I do? You're just like, oh, my goodness. You're basically coming on to Iron Man when it's like the worst it's ever been. Because it had Bendis's run, which was terrible. And then Slott rebooted it and somehow made it even worse. All you have to do is come in and just do the most basic, just decent Iron Man stuff. Like, you don't got to write home runs. Just basic Iron Man kicking villains' butts, having cool armor, living the life. It's not hard. It's really, I mean, man. You think, Marani says he's top Slott in terms of, you think this is worse than Slott's run? I'm not ready to say that. I don't know. I'm not ready. I haven't really read Slott's run, though, so do you guys have a drink? Everyone should have a drink. We need to be like Purchase Stream, but I can't call it like Drinks and Comics or whatever he does because he's already trademarked that. So, you know what's kind of a bummer about doing this when streaming that I just thought about is I can't go watch his stream. Not that I'm telling you guys to, but you're free to. It's a free country. I believe in freedom. Why is he do? Oh, anyways, I'm getting all butthurt again. I needed more wine. I'm drinking wine out of a glass because I'm sophisticated. I'm an elitist jerk. It's just a regular glass. Let's see. Zach says, I said, wow, how dare a superhero be treated like a superhero? I dropped this book from my pull list after number 2. I don't want a book where a hero gets preached at for how wrong he is. To which Cantwell said, fuck off, and then blocked me. Everything. Jeez. You should send me those tweets, Zach. I would love it if you did. I definitely want to shit post that dude. I just hate seeing these pros behaving so unprofessional. Today, Jimmy, our boy Jimmy, who's not here to support me, even though I was at his channel, support him. Why are you sending it to Discord? It's Twitter. Send it to Twitter. Cantwell's not on Discord. Jimmy had Brian Edward Hill on his channel. It was a really cool interview. I'd recommend you guys go back and listen to a replay if you didn't get to see it live. But here's a guy that I've gotten into it a number of times, and just a few days ago, actually, I got in an argument with him about Trump. He's never even come close to even hinting he would block me, much less block me. And we always walk away just like, all right, cool. You believe what you're going to believe, and all, and it's fine. Like, it's weird. I feel like it's like two grown men acting like adults, and it's fine. And then I'm sure he recognized. I've been following him for a couple years now. So when he saw me in the chat, and I asked a couple questions, like, it was all good. Maybe I annoy him. I don't know, but he never lets me know. That's the important thing, right? He's a total professional. It's not that hard. If you're going to get in the business of having fans, right, you need to treat them nice, because fandom is a one-way street. You're doing something that makes them a fan. They're not fans at you because you're a better person and you just deserve all this glory. No, you did something. And you can easily destroy it by telling them to fuck off. Like, it's not, basically what I'm saying is, it's not hard to not tell someone to fuck off. You don't got to lick their boots. You don't got to suck up to them. You know, you can even ignore them. Just don't be a dick. That's it. Like, and if it's too hard for you to go through life and not be a dick, you're the one that's with the problem, not the fan. Ed Brewer says some Juan Valdez quality stuff. Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, I gotta scroll up a little bit. I prefer tea, but I'm drinking a really nice cup of coffee. I like coffee and tea. Both of them cold. I rarely drink hot tea. And I drink hot coffee a little bit more, especially now that it's getting to get to the winter. When it's a cold morning or something, a hot cup of coffee is good. Tea I always like cold, like 99% of the time. I can enjoy a hot cup of tea once in a while, but I think I'd rather have a hot cup of coffee if I'm looking for something hot. And I love iced coffee. I would, but I'm taking a Twitter hiatus. Too much drama, and it was driving my stress way up. All right. Well, I am not going to try to change your mind on that. I don't want you to be stressed out. I understand completely. You're more than welcome to send it to Discord for that reason. Because they have been spoiled and enabled by their parents and did not teach them the SJW's life experience with other people, so they've lived their own bubble and can't handle real life situations. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that people, especially in America, we live such privileged lifestyles. We live such a soft life that things that should just be minor annoyances become earth-shattering problems. Like, we're just so soft. It's ridiculous. Like, people getting upset because you didn't use a proper pronoun. Like, good fucking Lord. Whatever. Zach says, wait, there's a Discord? Oh, shit. Someone told Zach now we gotta let Zach in. Damn it. Yes, there's a Discord. It's actually in the comments of all my videos, Zach, that you apparently don't read. So, in the description below. You have outed yourself, so I will forgive you. Computer Robot says, I'm still admit that I love it when Ash is on Twitter. He's hilarious there as well as on YouTube. On Twitter, I am definitely no holds barred. I've thought about actually changing my Twitter from Ash on Comics and just being something else. Because that's what it was before, was Ash on Comics. Because I don't really like associating it with my channel, because I talk all sorts of things. It's not just comics. So if you follow me there because you watch my channel, you're going to get a lot more. It's not really, and you may not want that. But I thought about it, and my attitude on the subject is, I do this for me. This channel is not me making money. I don't owe anyone anything. It's kind of funny. I got some comments recently in my channel, and they were trying to give me criticism of what to do and change the show and things like that, which I'm 100% okay with. Have your opinions and share them with me. It's absolutely your right. But it came, what kind of sort of bothered me was the tone that it was presented in, as if I needed to do this for, it's look, and I didn't really get into in the comments. I try not to argue at all in comments, but I don't get any money from this. Not a penny. Once in a while, someone will donate me a digital comic, which is cool. But usually it's nothing I like, It's usually here's Iron Man #1. That was a donation. All right, I'm glad that I have it. I did a review on it. But I don't get anything. So this is just for me. So a lot of people come in and they're, they watch YouTube and they're used to watching people who are trying to make a career out of it. They are trying to make money, right? So that person is trying to be an entertainer and deliver a product and win fans. I'm not. So it's and you critique me all you want. One guy told me I needed to start doing scripts and need to do more research and start scripting my content. And I was like, fair feedback. I'm sure that would make my channel better, but scripting is tough. The last scripting I did was my Captain Marvel movie review. If you're curious just to see what it turned out to be, I wrote a script and I read it off, and I think it came off sounding pretty professional and, well spoken. You're not rambling when you write a script. But in the time it took me to write the whole script, and then it took me 3 takes to do it right, where I was satisfied and I didn't like flub up the words in one part or whatever. Because if you're going to script and you flub up the words, what's the point? So between that and, between the writing, then the performance, and then going through and then the edit and then the upload to YouTube and all the stuff, it was like 5.5 hours worth of work for a 15-minute video. Now, if I was making money, like that was my job, all right, like, but it's not. So YouTube is a little bit more time consuming than a lot of people really understand. Even my basic videos where I just like turn on a screen capture and talk about a comic book off the cuff. Whatever the length of the video is, like the most basic video with no pre-scripting or anything, whatever the length of the video is, multiply that times 3, and that's how much time it took to make that video come on. Now, live streaming is the easiest because I basically just like go and and then once it's done, I hit stop and YouTube just records it and I don't have to edit it if I don't want, like whatever. That's like the lazy man's version. But even like the other video, so if I do a half-hour video, it took me an hour and a half to do it, which you're like, oh, that's no big deal. But if you start doing it a lot, and I used to do like at least a video a day, that's a lot of extra time. Like you get to days where it's like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Anyway, so I rambled on forever. Jimmy's here. Hey, Jimmy. Speaking of the devil, were your ears burning? Let's see. Lord says the privileged person he was talking about was Iron Man. All right. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Computer Robot says he likes it. Okay. I think I read that one already. Ash, how you feel about Marvel Avengers? You talking about the video game? I don't know the context. Ash only wanted to discuss his hobby with other people. What are you talking about? Ed is here. What's up, Ed? He's congratulating Jimmy on a nice interview. Says you're in California and write scripts. Maybe. Rania says I prefer Ash's unfiltered and unprocessed. Thank you. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for the raw, what you're getting. Sometimes it comes off very unprofessional and very amateur, but it's honest and it's unfiltered. And it's the videos I do are very much in line with the videos I like to watch. I don't really watch a lot of professionalized, high-end videos. I think if I'm going to do that, why not just watch an actual TV show or program? What I love about YouTube, and maybe that's because I've been on YouTube since the beginning. I mean, not as a YouTuber, but a person who's watched it. I like the homegrown type of content. Some dude in his bedroom doing a video on something. I think it's a view into a world that you will not get anywhere else. And that's not to say everything that comes from that area is great, but the reason I'm doing the videos I am is because of our boy Zach, right? The dude I started watching his videos, and he would just like park his car somewhere and plop up a comic book in front of his steering wheel and talk about it. It's like the most basic video. And I used to laugh at first. I was like, oh my God, this video is cornball. But I started realizing that I didn't care about the presentation. Later on, he would try to do some things to improve stuff. And I was like, just don't forget about this. Because the only thing I cared about is what was coming out of his mouth. And, that's, I guess that's it. So that's what I started to do. Zach says, I'm in the Discord for 2 seconds and I've been harassed. I'm not in Discord right now, so I can't help you, Zach. It's a raw, unsupervised place at the moment, so tread lightly. Also, I don't know what Discord name you choose, but if it's not Zach Richmond, you might want to identify yourself. Lord says, sorry, Jimmy, I'm not able to be there for your interview. Well, what are you going to do to make it up to him, Lord? Huh? What are you going to do? Man. Sorry, Jimmy. I can't answer for Lord. I'd rather have unprofessional than the sterile feel of scripted. That's generally how I feel. There's a couple scripted things I like. I do really like, oh God, I drank too much wine. Some young guy. It's not some young guy. That's the joke. Cream. You order cream of some young guy? Just some guy. Hey Jimmy, you could change your name. You could be some young guy. Oh man. And you could do a video about just the best comics, and you could call it the cream of some young guy. Cream rises to the yeah, just some guy. He does scripted videos, and he does really good stuff. I really like his stuff. I also like Nerdish. If anyone's ever watched Nerdish, holy shit, his stuff is funny as fuck. It's not safe for work. It's definitely not PC, and holy crap, that's what makes it awesome. But those are examples, I think, where scripting works. But those guys put the work in it. I mean, it shows. He says, thanks for showing up and throwing some questions out there. Oh, no problem, man. People support my show. I'm going to return the favor. Jimmy has been supporting this show for longer than I can remember. So it's my pleasure to try to support something you're doing whenever possible. Especially, I mean, you make it easy if you have Brian Hill on. It's not like I had to torture myself with Russell. That wasn't torture. But if you ever have Bendis on, that'll be torture. Good luck on that, by the way. I'm sure you're trying. I think eventually you will. What else? I don't know what to talk about. Let's just get to some comics. Just said too much in this. That's something you should really avoid when you're streaming or just doing videos, which is why I like having a co-host, because you can bounce back and forth, and you don't. When you do this by yourself, I'm telling you, if you haven't done it, if you haven't done this, doing this by yourself, just sitting and talking to a screen into a microphone and keeping the words going, just nonstop, like just that conscious stream of thought, it's tough. It's very tough. When I would do videos, I would have the benefit of like pausing as I was recording. So I could like record a video, and if I started, like, my brain started to seize and I would start to be like, what to talk, just pause. And I could sit there for 10 minutes. Just, what do I want to say next? Okay, got it. Unpause and then continue going. That's the poor man's way to have to avoid editing. But when you do live, you don't have the luxury of doing that. But it does get you at least in the practice, kind of like training wheels. Eventually, you just get used to like opening your mind and just letting what you're thinking about come out of your mouth, which can be kind of dangerous. Sometimes you can say some stupid things. And I think a lot of times people have trouble doing this is because they're always conscious of what they're saying. Not necessarily because they're going to say something dumb. I think a lot of times people worry about saying something uncool, right? Or corny, or something that people are going to mock them. And believe me, I've been mocked. People, especially when I started doing the readings, I get some comments on my stream, like later on, like the actual, not the live chat, but the comments later. People is like, oh man, the way you read comics is so dorky, or something like that. And that can be tough to hear, man, because I'm a real person. I got feelings, and I don't want to sound like a goober, like you're reading live. I know I'm not a superstar, but at least I don't want to sound, I don't want people, you get in your own head. That's kind of, you can't get into your head. You just have to just put it out there and just be like, whatever. There's going to be some people who just go, God, this guy sounds like a total dork. Can't do anything about those guys. Maybe I do. Maybe everyone's just being nice. They're just like, Ash, we don't tell you that because we feel bad for you. We're here for the pity. So you feel like you have a couple of friends. I don't know. The way I do things is you just put yourself out there. I think eventually, if you're watching this channel, you're watching this show probably for the same reason that I watch other people. And it's just because you kind of get to know them as a personality and they become interesting. And it's almost like having a conversation with them. That's where I come from, at least. Trying to get to the comics. Why is it not showing on the screen? Do my bidding. There we go. You guys should be able to see. Let's see. Comics Quirk says, I will have Bendis someday in my mouth. Wait, what? Jeez, Jimmy, that's not very safe for work. He didn't actually say that. I made that up. Phasing Quirk's phrasing. This is Maranya. Oh, Maranya, you went the same direction I did, but you were just politer about it. We are the co-hosts and the audience. Like, whose line is it anyway? Exactly, Ed. Exactly. Val Conan, I will have Bendis on the show. Oh my God, you gonna do porn? Oh, you should. Okay, so Ash, is California still a communist state? Yes. Oh man, we're so blue. It's ridiculous. California didn't even come close to going red. Everyone's like, oh, I think California's going to turn red this year. Now, granted, I have no idea how much election fraud that there really is. So maybe, but California, the results that are tabulated are just whatever. It's just whatever. But what do you expect out of a state that reelected Nancy Pelosi at 87% of the vote? I mean, I've never seen a bigger fuck up in Congress. I mean, her district literally has people shitting on the street. They literally have a department of poop disposal that people have to go around to pick up human feces. That's your district. You're failing so bad that you had to create a government agency or whatever that has to go around and pick up the human feces in the 21st century. And we re-elected her at 87%. Put down the shovel, Quirks. You're just digging that hole deeper, says Maranya. Yeah, never dig yourself your own hole. I was disappointed with Comixology today. Apparently they don't have Astro City. They have Astro City. They totally have Astro City. Watch. Look at your screen right now. Astro City. Dun 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 dun. Searching. Watch. I'm going to get egg on my face. Where's Astro City? I've read Astro City 47 on the show from Comixology. There's no Astro City. Wow. That's crazy. I don't know. Obviously, there's some sort of rights issue. Astro City is a creator owned by Kurt Busiek. I would write to Kurt Busiek. Let's see. Except Zach, you're not on Twitter, so maybe I will. I used to interact with Kurt Busiek a lot, but he's really, it's like I just hate seeing these guys get all. I don't know. Maybe now that they think that Biden won, they're gonna be cooler. They're not gonna be all, reeing. Ed says the whole Astro Cities series was free a month ago. Yeah, there must be some sort of licensing thing that got up. I do not know why it's not here. That's crazy. Anyways, where was I gonna? Oh yeah, I was looking for books to read. So, for those of you, there was only like 3 or 4 of you that came on my last stream that E streamed over me. Pretty much killed the stream until there was no one here. It was pretty sad. I was gonna do V for Vendetta because it was November 5th, which was the Gunpowder Plot Day. V for Vendetta is pulled from that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this, and do it. And that stream just failed. And the more I thought about it afterwards, I was like, maybe that's Providence. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe Alan Moore did his snake god magic and he corrupted my stream. I don't know. It just did not work. And so it was going to be 5 episodes of nothing but V for Vendetta. And based on that stream, I got a little gun shy, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to yank that idea. Not going to do it. So I'm going to do something else. And I think one of the ones I want to do for the election is Thief of Thieves. Because it seems thematic, right? Biden's the thief of thieves. Stole the election. Got a big bottle of water because Maranya told me to drink water when I'm drinking alcohol. And she's smart. So that's going to be the first book for tonight. Let's see. I don't know how many issues this is, but who cares? This is written by Robert Kirkman and Nick Spencer. So it's got a 50-50 chance of being really good because Robert Kirkman's pretty amazing. I do like heist stories. I have never read this. I don't know if you have or not. But like I said, Kirkman is fun. So we're going to go ahead and get on with that. Comics Quirk says, in regards to you guys, I just sent Brian an email, 99% chance he says no. But still, since you guys love him so much, I had to for you. Well, I would have personally, Jimmy, gotten more interviews under your belt because even though I don't like Brian Michael Bendis, he is a real high-profile guy. So, like, work up to him instead of going straight to that level. That would be my suggestion. But you do you. You've obviously gotten more interviewers on your channel than I've gotten on mine. So let's get on with the show, shall we? Oh, damn it. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go full screen. Where's Venkman at? Oh, yeah. He's streaming over me. Let's see. Sorry. This my butt hurt again. I gotta get some preparation H, so I don't have that problem. And here we go. Prologue. Incoming call. Hello? Celia. Come help here. Oh, wait. Sorry, I read that wrong. Celia. Some help here? Of course, Redmond. Lights? Chapter 1. The Thief and His Apprentice. No, wait. Nice try, asshole. Don't even think. Thump. Don't shoot, fellas. I surrender. Countess, ma'am, I'm sorry to wake you, but there's been an incident. We've already confirmed with the other guests aboard. No one's lost anything. Captain, I think we both know if he was after something, it will be from my inventory Let me see it. Wake my men. We would like to meet with this thief. This is Vigo, the head of my personal security. He will be hitting you now. Smack. Where is the pearl? Countess, a word, please. I already told you, we've searched his person. Found nothing. I doubt... Captain, when I came aboard this vessel, I made very clear just how precious that cargo was. You assured me that no one could gain unauthorized access to your safe, and now I am looking at a man who you say has gained unauthorized access to your safe. I understand that, ma'am, but this is an American ship. We have laws. We can hold him and we can question him, but we can't torture him. Of course you can't. I forget sometimes how much simpler things are in my country. I'll take him home with me. Did I do the accent okay? Tell me you at least got it. Of course I got it. Pretty easy when they walk you right into the safe. All in all, I'd say that went really well. Good job, team, yeah? Good job, team. You know, Celia, some days I wish we'd never met. How Celia and Redmond met, or how to steal a car. Come on, you son of a bitch. You're doing that all wrong, you know. Everyone's a goddamn critic. You gonna call the cops? I'm just trying to help a lady out. No, hey. It is my car. Yeah, well, 2 more minutes it would have been mine. I bet. First off, you're going after the wrong ride. Nicest in the lot. Not that I'm complimenting. I'm sure it is, but it's also custom. Your fence... You do have a fence, right? Dude, come on. Your fence needs factory parts. May I? Now, if you're really committed to sticking with the classic coat hanger here, you do need to buy American. Most Japanese cars open sideways. From there, you need a screwdriver to get some room to play with, and just need to apply some Zen to it. And there we go. Car in 3 steps. Oh my God, that's amazing. Nobody on YouTube could do it that fast. I can't. Would. But that's no way to make a living. Hey! It's messy. It's got too high a margin for error. And it only works on older models. Dinosaurs were probably very easy to steal from too. But unfortunately, they're all dead. Besides, if you're this bad at entry, can't imagine your wire work. No. What you want to do, take a look around. You're looking for an economy car. Any make is fine. Clean. In good condition. General upkeep, alarm light off. No matter how easy pressing a button on a keychain is, 46% of drivers never activate it. Look in the back. You see a purse? Women's clothing? Anything that suggests the driver is a female? Why does that matter? Female drivers take their cars in for service more regularly. They drive more carefully and are in less accidents, meaning the parts are almost always in better shape. But more importantly, they're better prepared for emergencies. It's got a hide a key. 1 in 6 automobile owners now store emergency keys under their cars. Combine that with the 46% that don't turn on their alarms, and pretty much any lot has at least one car someone's actually trying to get you to steal. That was incredible. That was amazing. Teach me everything. Make me your, I don't know, your apprentice or something. Be thankful I let you drive. I'm serious. I want to learn. Why is a girl like you so eager to be a thief? I got student loans. And a kid. What did you study? Political science. So, a natural-born thief then. Boom! There it is! I knew this would be perfect. I knew this thematically, I meant. Thematically perfect. Oh, geez. Hold on a second. I need a drink. Oh, boy. And where are you taking me? This is where my fence is. Hey, what are you doing? Pull over. You're going to get us both killed. What do you mean? The guy says he'll pay good money for... The guy is going to pull a piece on you 2 seconds after he sees keys, and you'll be walking home from here. If luck shines on you, look, here's $3,000 for the car, all right? It's mine now. Are you serious? That's like twice what he was going to give me. Wasn't going to give you. Yeah, but look, man, I'm real grateful and all. Really, I am, but that's not what I need. What am I supposed to do? Just hope every time I try to lift something, some tall, mysterious stranger guy shows up and bails me out? You ask me why I want to do this. It's because every time I look around, I see a bunch of people stupider and meaner and lazier than me getting more. And all I want to do is take it from them. Life's not fair? Cool. Stop telling me to play fair then. I work hard, I listen, and I learn fast. Beyond that, I got no moral compass. Show me what to do. Imagine the girl that went and studied political science has no moral compass. Feels like real world to me. Moving on. You really have a kid? I told you back then I didn't need an assistant. Apprentice. You told me back then you didn't need an apprentice. And you didn't tell me we'd be sleeping together. Oh, bow chicka wow wow. Back home. Why Redmond needs an assistant. I am enjoying this plot structure. I'm really enjoying how it's playing back. I normally don't think this is praise of a comic, but I could really see this being kind of like a movie. Anyways, moving on. We're not sleeping together. But I think I've made it very clear we could. You are always this direct about things like that. Please. Overdrawn, overwrought sexual tension in the workplace. Not so much for me. This isn't Who's the Boss. I'm the boss. No, the TV show. Who's the Boss? Male housekeeper wants to hook up with the single mom he works for, Mona, Alyssa Milano. Jesus, didn't you watch TV in the 80s? I stole a lot of TVs in the 80s. Anyway, we need to talk about the Venice job. What about it? We need to talk about the fact that you're not talking about it? Arno is pissed. I'm still working on a few small details. Redmond, you were supposed to meet with the guys 3 weeks ago. It's greenlit. We're a month behind schedule now. Arno's fronting $500,000 for the operating budget, and you've got a 9-man team passing up work out there. You can't just suddenly disappear on everyone. Look, it'll be fine. I'll call Arno. We'll set something up for next week. I just need a little more time on sort some things out on my own. And everything will be right as rain. Right as rain. They're in there waiting for me, aren't they? Surprise! The unexpected meeting. Or an uncomfortable moment. Hey, Arno. Where in the hell have you been? What's the news on Venice? Are we greenlit? When do we get moving? What happened to your face? If I could have everyone's attention, please. Please, I would like to propose a toast. I know the old saying about honor among thieves, but I mean what I say. Redmond, it has truly been an honor to work with you here. You know, when Redmond came to me and told me his idea for Venice, when he told me he'd need $2 million for starters, well, I thought to myself, this guy is crazy as a loon. I did. I wanted to check for my wallet and then find the nearest exit. But I was wrong. And I'm glad about it. Redmond, you are, I think without any doubt, the greatest thief of your generation. Who here can forget Berlin and watching you put this job together? For how long now? 3 years? Good God. How many countless hours have we spent planning, recruiting, rehearsing for just this moment? And now, as we stand here today, granted a few weeks later than we'd originally hoped, but on the verge of realizing all of our dreams, I know I, for one, can't wait to see you in action again, pulling off the heist of the new millennium. To Redmond! Well, Arno, it's interesting you bring that up right now, really, because I've been giving this a great deal of thought, actually, and I... swig. I quit. That's kind of a nice hook at the end of the first book. Wanting to read more. They give you just a little piece of a little bit of a heist. Just, to get a feel of, what the book's going to be like. Introduce you to the two characters, have a little bit of banter, make them kind of, if not necessarily likable, kind of fun to watch or read their stories. Well, what do you guys think? Let's get me to the comments. God, that wine is not sitting well with me, I gotta tell you. Jeez. Maybe I'm dehydrated. I gotta drink some more. I got a thing of iced tea and a thing of water. Still not enough. All right, so where's my comments? There they are. Okay. Ed said the whole Astro City was there a month ago. We talked about that. Let's see. Comics Quirk says he has 2 more lined up. He's got Justin Greenwood and Phil Hester. There's only a couple of comments. Come on, guys. maybe the comic was just that good, so you didn't want to break your attention. I think that's what it is. The art style feels like Archer, the TV series, which is appropriate for this story, says Maranya. I agree, actually. I don't know if it's appropriate, but it does feel like Archer, and it doesn't feel inappropriate. It feels just different enough to where it doesn't make me think of Archer and like this should be comedy. I do take it a little more serious. So yeah, I think it works. Zach says, is this book going to teach me to steal stuff like Breaking Bad taught me how to make drugs? Oh boy. I don't think so. I don't know. I've never read this book. Jimmy's read it, I think. So he could probably tell you. I don't think so. This doesn't seem dark like Breaking Bad. This definitely has Robert Kirkman's fun kind of style and structure that he does with most of his books, at least. I feel a lot of similarity to stuff that I've read in Firepower, which, by the way, plug tomorrow night, 7:30 is the first inaugural episode. Is inaugural right? First regular episode of the still unnamed indie comic show with me and Skip and Tosh, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8:30 Mountain, 9:30 Central, and 10:30 Eastern for all you East Coasters. We're going to be talking about the feature Firepower book by Robert Kirkman, which is one of our feature books. We're going to be talking a couple extra books that Skip and I don't necessarily read in common, but we just mention them, bring them up, maybe try to sell the other person on the book. And then our book of the week, which is a bi-weekly feature, is East of West. And we'll be talking about the first volume of East of West. You can get those on Comixology. On Unlimited, you can just read them. So if you want to follow along, the whole idea is we're going to be doing one volume every 2 weeks. So if you haven't read the book before, this is an opportunity to get into the book and discover it fresh with people like myself who are discovering it fresh. I know sometimes, for me, I like to read new books because I like discovering the stuff with people. I like to shoot the shit and be like, oh, did you read the newest issue of this? Like, what'd you think? Like, oh, and talk about it, theory craft. But sometimes when a book is out and everyone's read it, you're late to the show and you're like, oh, okay. You can have fun going and reading it. It's still going to be good, but you missed out on that initial kind of like, the water cooler talk and kind of being a thing. Also, sometimes when you go back and read back, it's just sometimes you'll just like blast through it. Like Venkman's doing Walking Dead right now. I think he's going to finish the whole series, 193 issues in like a month, which I guess is fine. That's what you want to do. But sometimes breaking it up over time lets the experience let you savor the experience over a long period of time. I really miss that. I had a big discussion with Jimmy about this, about binging versus reading things as they come out. This really applies for TV shows more importantly, I think, not more importantly, but similarly, the Netflix model of like just release the whole thing right away and boom, you can sit and watch it. I do that because I'm a bingey kind of person, but honestly, I would rather, like Stranger Things is one of my favorite things on Netflix. I would rather Stranger Things come out one episode every week and I could sit and watch for 8 weeks, one episode, and then get online and talk about it and be like, oh my God, you see the latest episode? People do podcasts of it and do things, and it's cool. But when the Netflix, it's like you sit down in a weekend and boom, you've watched it. I've enjoyed it, but then it's gone. It's out of your consciousness. You move on to other things. I'd rather have it sit, be around for 8 weeks or whatever, if it's 8 episodes. Kind of like what Mandalorian's doing right now, right? For those of you who are Mandalorian fans, everyone is talking about it. Every week. It's like, oh, the new episode of Mandalorian. Whether or not you like the show or not, you get my point. Like, they're enjoying it. And if Disney just released it, everyone would watch it in like a day. It'd be like, oh, watch all the, and they would talk about it for a couple days and then it'd be gone. And I don't know. I think it's better to savor it. And so that's the idea. So East of West, we're going to read it. I'm not going to read ahead. I'm going to read one volume every 2 weeks. There's 10 volumes overall. So it's going to be a period of 5 months. We're going to be able to savor this book and talk about it like it's a new thing. So be there. Join us. Bring your own opinions about indie books. Come maybe find some new indie books. This is not a review show. This is a show that's meant completely to just geek out and gush about books that we like and advocate them and try to sell them on other people, and try to bring a viewpoint, because I know a lot of comic fans, they get introduced in the industry and it's, the big two, Marvel, DC, and they love their superheroes, and that's where I come from, so I completely understand it. And so sometimes these other indie books don't get a lot of love, and in today's day and age, I gotta tell you, the best stuff is coming out of the indie market, like bar none. So it's now that I've talked a lot, get some couple comments. Thief of Thieves is actually pretty good. Kirkman made this book because he wanted to write a book like Hollywood writes TV shows. The writing room with other people and take turns per arc. Cool. Mandalorian is the best Star Wars since the original trilogy. It's not even the best Star Wars that Disney's done. You're high as a kite. But I'm glad people are enjoying it. Rania says, I'm programmed to read month to month with my comic books. I wish they would stop thinking ahead to the trade and that they'll be compiled in and write a compelling story that has meat to it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Rania, but unfortunately the industry is changing. Books don't sell like they used to. Trades are a necessary part of the business model. However, it is possible to write for the trade and still have a satisfying floppy issue experience. I would like to point to this book right here, which I still haven't read the full series, but I want to. Deceased. This first issue, it's quality first issue. Like, it does what a comic should do. It hooks you, gives you some story, gives you some action moments. You get to the end, you feel, if not like a full resolution, you feel like a kind of a cliffhanger. You're wanting to read more. You're on the hook. Sometimes it's tough to wait that next 30 days, but when you get that next 30, you're like, oh, I got to read it. And you want to. This is a book that's done right, I think. So I think when books are done well, I think this book, The Thief of Thieves I just read, it seems pretty obvious to me, especially what I know of Kirkman is definitely a guy who does not. I know he knows how to write the traditional comics model because he used to work for Marvel. But his stuff that he does in Image, he breaks the mold. He does not follow the 20-page structure. He breaks it all the time with Firepower and Oblivion Song. He'll just be like, I needed 5 extra pages here, so he just throws it in. Which is kind of nice that indies can do that. But also sometimes when you're working within boundaries, it forces you to do things. And actually sometimes you get your best work when you are working with it, when you're forced to just not do whatever you want. But Kirkman makes it work, and I think this first issue feels satisfying. If I was reading this book and I had to wait next month to get the next issue, so far I feel like I'd be fine. Fortunately, you guys won't have to wait next month. You'll just have to wait till Tuesday, which, by the way, is when I'll be watching The Mandalorian with my buddy has Disney Plus. So I'm going over to his house, watch a couple of episodes. I'll let you know what I think on Tuesday about Mandalorian. No spoilers. But yeah, so now we got to figure out the second book we're going to be reading. I thought I had. I'm gonna not tonight, but I'm gonna be bringing out John Byrne's Nextman. I don't want to do multiple indie books, so since I'm doing an indie book, I thought I would do a big 2 book. I do want to do Turtles as well, but those have to go on the back burner. Batman Cataclysm's too big. Venkman gave this to me, very generous donation. Thank you, Venkman, you're not here to hear me saying thank you, but that is something I... Let's see. Read Thor, God of Thunder, says Jimmy. That's not a bad... It's not necessarily a bad pick. I'm scrolling through... Oh, I'm gonna do time. I wanna do this one right. I wanna do Batman Year One. But I feel like every time I'm thinking about doing it, then I get like 5 viewers or something. I think that'll be really fun to read. There's Thor, God of Thunder. This one's aging like a fine wine over here, Jimmy. It's not gone away. It's or actually maybe like a good bourbon whiskey sitting in the barrel, just taking in that wooden oakiness into the flavor profile, just getting better with age. Let's see. I kind of want to do something like almost like maybe a Silver Age Marvel, like classic Spider-Man. Because I do actually have here The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Kind of want to do... I really enjoy reading the classic comics out loud. There's just something about them. I really enjoy the modern sensibilities of writing, but you can just sort of be dramatic with the old classics, and it's fun. When I did that Silver Surfer one, oh geez, that was great. What are your guys' thoughts? Only Jimmy's talking. He's monopolizing your decision process. Don't let Jimmy swing the vote. Get your say in there. Jimmy says, or Shield by Hickman. Yeah, I gotta put Hickman on hold, man. Hickman makes my brain hurt sometimes. Jimmy says, please just read the first one. If I read the first one and I don't continue, then I'm not going to continue. Because that's the problem that I have. I don't want to ever be like there's a couple of books I thought about doing. I was like, man, I really like Black Science. I want to go do Black Science, but I don't want to start on issue 2. And I've already read issue 1 like months ago. So if I just do a one-off, that's all it's going to be. So I want to know whether I'm going to commit or not. I don't think reading one issue of a Jason Aaron book is going to be good. I think I'm going to do it at least 6 issues. I just got to wait till the time is right, Jimmy. Got to wait till the time is right. You know, I've been waiting how many years for Avatar too? Like, you just got to be patient. Eventually, all good things come. Where I wish they had a section for your unlimited books. Oh, probably because I'm in the wrong section. Exit the reader. Because I thought I had some books that I checked out. Giving people. Ronnie says Spider-Man. Melissa says Spider-Man. Lord says Black Science was depressing. Go read it, Ash. That's a weird recommendation. It made me want to shoot myself. You should totally read it. Do I have... I wish I could sort better with Comixology. Jimmy says, no Spider-Man. Jimmy doesn't like Spider-Man. He just pretends to. Got All-Star Superman. What else? I could read some old school Avengers. The Kree Skrull War. The problem with some of these books that I have, though, well, this one's only 205 pages. 200. Wait, it's 205 pages and it's 8 issues long? Well, I guess that makes sense. That's still pretty long. Comics Quirk says, I don't pretend to like Spidey. I don't. You don't like Spider-Man? What are you? You don't like Batman and you don't like Spider-Man. Are you even a comic fan? I swear. I don't know what to do with you sometimes. Can you imagine that, guys? Not liking Batman or Spider-Man? Strange. I could read Faith, Jimmy. Would you rather I do that? No one wants me to read that. This is like the million Valiant comics I have because when the COVID came, they we're giving away tons of free books. And so the person I am, I'm like, oh, I'll take a bunch of free books. But now they clog my section. Oh, look at all these East to West books. I have them all. I have them all. Oh, I can read Spider-Man Blue. But Jimmy doesn't like Spider-Man. I can read Superman for all seasons. Oh, that could be fun. Or I could read All-Star Batman and Robin. That'd be amazing. I'm the goddamn Batman. Frank Miller is the best. He's the best around. How's that song go? Never ever gonna let you down. I think I just made Jimmy throw up in his mouth. It says, when is your next stream with Skip? Did you just miss the entire pitch that I gave? It was like a 15-minute pitch. Ronnie says, I'm not fond of Spider-Man, but I like him better than Thor. Not even Stan Lee's Spider-Man? You don't like Spider-Man either? My goodness. You shouldn't vote for Spider-Man if that's not what you want. That's a bad idea. Well, that's bad, okay? That's bad. I could read Super Sons. Super Sons. I got the whole Batman, Scott Snyder era stuff. Now this is where I get into a lot of the good stuff because it's when I first got back into comics. So I was getting all these DC graphic novels and different things. I didn't even know what I was getting. I was like, oh, that looks good. I'll get that. I really don't know what to do. Ronnie says Iron Man is on Unlimited. Well, is there a good Iron Man on Unlimited, Ronnie, that I should read? I take suggestions, by the way, you guys. You guys can throw out, if you just go to Comixology and you find Unlimited, which has these little bands on the lower right-hand corner of the comic, and it says Unlimited. That means if you're an Unlimited subscriber, you can read for free. So since I can read any of these that have the Unlimited man. Let's click this checkbox to filter just the Unlimited books. Because unfortunately in modern comics, when you type in a result, it used to be you just said Iron Man, there'd be one Iron Man series. That's it. The numbers nowadays, you type it, it's there's 15 volumes of the Iron Man at different times. You're like, Jesus. All right, here we go. Maranya. You can see on the screen many different. Look at this. This is just the unlimited Iron Man. And look at how many series there are. Marani says pretty much anything before Bendis run, but if you find Stark Wars, Armor Wars 1, Armor Wars 2, well, you're the Iron Man aficionado, so there's got to be a particular story arc or something that stands out that's a fun, you know, if someone came to me and said, what should you read? I want to read a Daredevil story. What should I read? I'd just be like, oh, that's tough because there's two actually, but they're both Frank Miller. So I'd be like, do you want an origin story or do you want an end story? No, I would say Born Again. Born Again is the best. But it's, you know, if you came to me with X-Men, I'd probably have a couple. Jimmy says, Armor Wars was okay. Jimmy is so hard to please when it's not one of his boys. We need to find a Jason Aaron written Iron Man book, and Jimmy will be goo goo gaga. Let's see. It's hard to pin Iron Man down because he wasn't written in terms of storylines. Yeah, you picked a hard thing to be a fan of, Maranya. Iron Man has never really gotten the goods. I don't think there's like a legendary run of Iron Man that you can point to. Like a lot of other characters at least had some point in there where you're like, oh, this is, you know, even Iron Fist. You can point to the Brubaker run of Iron Fist and be like, oh yeah, read that. If you're going to read Iron Fist, read that. But Iron Man is just Iron Man. Ronnie says Fraction Iron Man is solid. Yes, Denny O'Neil's run is solid also. Iron Fraction. All right. Is Fraction's Iron Man here? Let's see. How do I find which one is Fraction's Iron Man? Do you know what years he wrote Iron Man? Because they gave me the years here. Could be 2012, maybe? Let's see. This looks like Kieran Gillen. Third at the top, this one? Matt Fraction, Salvador LaRocca. Man, there we go. All right. I think we found a winner. I'm going to read me. No, this is Matt Fraction. Oh, you're talking about the old one. So, Invincible Iron Man from 2008 to 2012. 5 Nightmares, Part 1. Dun, dun, dun. I have not read any Iron Man on this channel before. I'm happy to get a new character because I feel like we just recycle a lot. It's like lots of Batman, lots of Superman, like lots of Spider-Man. I like those characters, but I want to have some diversity. And so I like Iron Man. I just don't like that they've never given Iron Man the goods. Like I really want to see them give a couple years and put like someone astounding on Iron Man that would just do an amazing job. Good art, flesh out a story. Like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know who could do that, but I'm sure there's maybe someone. I don't know. Like maybe Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry. I couldn't resist. Low-hanging fruit. All right. Quirk says, good book. Of course he does, because this is one of Bendis's Portland Mafia chaps. So, if Maranya says it's good too, though, so I'm a little bit better. I am not sold on Matt Fraction. So everyone says, oh, you should read Fraction's Iron Man run. He did a pretty good job. And I'm like, All right. Let's here we go. I'm being open-minded. Here we go. Tabora, Tanzania, Africa. About 130,000 people live here, trying to scratch out a living in the developing world. About 35,000 of them have landlines. 126,000 have cell phones. Adimu Chiume is the newest one of them. She and her friends have all chipped in on minutes that they'll use to call family in London or New York, or boys in nearby towns that they like. Not only has Adimu never owned a phone, but she's never owned a camera. None of these girls have. Hell, her grandmother still thinks cameras eat the soul. Welcome to tomorrow, Adimu. I'm so sorry you didn't survive to see a little more of it. The boys aren't anyone she recognizes, but she recognizes trouble no matter what town or the village it comes from. They start yelling. Even if Adimu could hear them over the noise in the street, she wouldn't understand them. They're not speaking English or Swahili anymore. They're speaking a language that isn't even human. It takes 1.4 seconds for the boys to kill 98 people. For suicide bombings to go bounding into the 21st century. And for terror to evolve. I won't find out about this for another 5 hours. Isn't that always the way for dinosaurs? We're extinct long before our brains realize it's too late. She'll fly again, Commander. Spit and polish and we'll have her space-worthy in no time. That's great news, Director Stark. You're incredible. Please. You guys are the actual astronauts. I'm just a guy in a suit. Tony Stark is the Invincible Iron Man in The Five Nightmares, Part 1, Armageddon Days. You know, you guys should let me build these things for you. I'd do a lot better than plate your belly with $20 worth of insulation tiles. Zeet. Why does it say Zeet? It's so weird. Zeet. You want to privatize space travel? You got my vote, sir. Well, first things first. Let's start off with my 5 biggest nightmares. Nightmare number 1. That I get drunk tonight. That I decide to pour my, what is it now? 4, 5, 6 years of not drinking? My 6 years of sobriety? Anything to drink here, anyone? That I decide to pour my 6 years of sobriety down the line of this woman's back from a magnum of champagne. Sure, a regular or decaf. Oh, Anthony. Never mind the drink, Anthony. Come to bed. If Eric were here, he would say, outrage. But it's never just one magnum of champagne. After that, it's long nights alone with Jack and Jim and Johnny, and eventually old Granddad with some tussin. Sure. Pilar, darling, it's sunrise or sunset. Do you know? I've been up for 3 days and I'm starting to lose track. The sun, she is coming up, so you come to bed. I would have put at least $1,000 on this being the sunset. You know, I was in space earlier today. I fixed the space shuttle all by myself. I am already in your bed, Anthony. You don't need to impress me anymore. Director Stark. Pilar will be flown home and dropped at her doorstep. Suicide bombings aren't unheard of in the region. Who does it and why? How often? Who funds them? A full briefing is being prepped now, sir, but this was something else. Wait, Tony's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess? I missed this era of Marvel. You guys hear the rain? It's raining real heavy, so sorry if you hear that. Continuing. My day job as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. plays hell on my sex life. Something else other than 3 kids blowing themselves up in a crowd at lunchtime. Were there, I don't know, chemical weapons, biological? Director Stark, we know 3 16-year-old kids piled out of an 88 Citroen CX in the middle of a marketplace street at lunchtime. But we don't know how they did something of this magnitude. What happened here? We know this much. It wasn't nuclear. There was nuclear yield, but no fallout. As much as it looks like it, this wasn't a briefcase nuke, and I don't have to convince the president to declare war on Kazakhstan this afternoon or anything. No, not yet anyway. Tell me about regional risks. Who was close enough or organized enough to pull this thing off? Who could finance the tech? Director Stark, there are 3 traditional terror outfits in the region. The Revolutionary Army, the Fist of the People, and the Tiger's Tooth. This was too big for all of them combined. We've traced an AIM splinter group to the Congo calling itself Advanced Genocide Mechanics, and there's been some chatter suggesting they're at least aware of what happened in Tabora. Did you say genocide? I did. Genocide. Director Stark. Jenno, what the hell are we dealing with? The first response team found something on site we can't account for. Literally, we have no idea who this was manufactured by, what it was manufactured for, or what it was doing near the blast radius. I don't want to talk to Jim Rhodes on a secure channel in the office ASAP. When do we leave? When does who leave for what, sir? The raid on the AGM. I'm leading it. When do we leave? Sir, I know you've taken a highly active presence in the field before, but with all due respect, we don't entirely know what AGM is capable of, and the idea of putting you in the mix. Maria. Advanced Genocide Mechanics? Are you kidding me? Someone's figured out how to earn a near nuclear yield without fission in a damn street market. I'm not asking for your permission to grind them into the dirt. When do we leave? We're T-minus 4 minutes, Director Stark. Okay. Do we need to resched, sir? We've already got the mission clock running. If we stopped... No, don't stop it. I'll have the Iron Man up and activated in time. I just wanted to go to Houston, watch the shuttle land. They don't show it on the news anymore. They don't show it on the news unless people die. Jones, Reynolds, Jones World, Headquarters, New York, New York. Mr. Stain, Ezekiel? Yeah, they're ready for you inside, but you'll need security to clear security first. Yeah, okay. What about the metal detectors I already went through? Not secure enough? Not quite. We have slightly higher tech up on the 44th floor. Pacemaker? Yeah, no microwave popcorn, okay? I'd hate to drop dead in there. Mr. Stain, you'll excuse the somewhat draconian security measures, but discretion is and security are a must. Oh, sure. Mr. Stain, did it occur to you to some maybe wear socks in this presentation? Tell you the truth, it rarely occurs to me to wear socks, ever, no matter how many guards and gates I gotta go through. You guys get my DVDs? Yeah, that's them. There you go. Go ahead and log into your little terminals in there and pop them in, and I'll get started. You hired me to tweak out your tobacco to produce a higher basal metabolic rate in the people that smoked it. You wanted me to invent a cigarette that actually made the smoker lose weight, which I did. Congrats, you're the men that'll keep big tobacco alive decades after it should have been driven into the ground. Listen, fellas, I make and manufacture next-gen weapons for terrorists and freak show lunatics. And I'm saying this. Is that guy what... Wait. As that guy, what you do is completely evil. I might deal to murderers, but you guys are addicting kids and murdering them yourselves. All right. Oh, sorry. I'm doing the pinch your nose, the bridge of your nose thing. Nothing like a spoiled white kid who makes super weapons for terrorists to lecture the smoking industry is really the true evil. I'm not a pro smoker guy. I've never smoked. I never will smoke. I don't want anyone to smoke. But it's not even apples and oranges. This is stupid. Sorry. Shut up, Matt Fraction. Anyways, back to the show. I've designed bioweaponry since I was 9, and this thing I'm working on now, I've hit a ceiling. To take it to the next step, I needed you. I took your money, I used your tech, and I upgraded it myself. I used your money and a lot of your lab equipment to upgrade my hypothalamus. See how the projects relate? Mr. Stain. Roxanne, we need security. Are you saying... You know that you normal people use up to 70% of your caloric energy doing basal level crap? Breathing, blinking, heart beating. I got mine down to 9%. Lots of surplus energy that frees up. Roxanne, we need security now. I'm saying that I made something miraculous on your time and dime. And you were all dead the moment you were alone in here with me. Thanks, guys. I quit. Do you have any idea what the human body can do with that much surplus energy? You can do stuff like this. Damn. Let me tell you my second nightmare. Shield helicarrier. Latitude 64 degrees, 8 inches. Longitude 21 degrees, 54 inches. My second nightmare is that somewhere, somehow, the Iron Man would become cheap. That it would become easily and affordably replicable. Because as it stands, that is a badass shot of the helicarrier. I'm really liking the art in this book. Just to pause, by the way. There's two. Mine, which is state of the art. It looks like an armor incident to me. And the other belongs to my friend Jim Rhodes, War Machine. But his isn't as good as mine. What else short of a nuke has that yield? I haven't been on site, but Tony, Some of these images suggest that our Hiroshima shadows burned into the ground. I don't think it was armor. I think it was. You're wrong. I don't think so. And that's why he's my best friend. Totally unimpressed by my power. You know what I miss about having you around all the time, Rhodey? The intellectual frisson that comes from sparring with one of your great intellect. You just basically said intellect twice in one sentence. Shut up. You're fired. Can I fire you? Not anymore, Tony. Listen, in all seriousness, how do you know it wasn't an armor job? How can you be sure? Take another look, will ya? War Machine out. The third nightmare spins directly out of the second one. And how I deal with the third nightmare answers Rhodey's question directly and explains why I can't tell him why he's wrong. Launch armor map. Voice identified. Stark Anthony. Launching armor map. The third nightmare is that someone other than Rhodey or me will start piloting the Iron Man. And I'm not wholly thrilled with the people that pilot suits that are not... And I'm not wholly thrilled with the people that pilot suits that are similar to the Iron Man. Once upon a time, my designs were stolen and sold in the underworld. Suddenly, my tech was being used to hurt people, to kill people in some cases. So once I got to S.H.I.E.L.D., I started up a little pet project. I keep track of all the leading candidates, past or present, everyone else out there in a suit of armor who used to wear a suit of armor. I'm watching them. And not one of you has been in Africa. Whoever perpetrated the Tabora massacre is a new player. I can't believe you survived that. I can. Well, you shouldn't have. How are you feeling? How am I feeling? I'm feeling like I just survived a jump out of a 44-story building, and I'm pretty sure that these are second degree burns. How do you think I feel, Sasha? Don't get snippy with me, Zeke. There were 19 kinds of exit strategies, and not one of them involved jumping out of the damn window. You wanted to push your upgrades to the performance benchmarks and see what happened, and you know it. You're right, baby. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm a little too cranky. Blood sugar and such have absolutely zeroed out while these repairs have been made. Hand me some goo. Here. Here comes 20,000 calories, just like Mom used to make. Good. God, that stuff is disgusting. And it tastes like motor oil. Remember when phones look like this, kids? I do. Oh my gosh, cell phones are going to totally date comics. Like going. It's funny. Anyways, sorry. I added a sweetener. Now it tastes like sweetened motor oil. I really needed to address this heat surplus. If I'm not careful, I'm going to burn my damn hair off. Still, got the job done, yeah? What's the word with the rest of the world, darling? Check it. The incident report from Africa says the power yields were above spec. Rad. And we're bringing in more human bomb candidates, paid up and ready for modding. Now rest up. We want to make sure you're in shape for meeting Stark next week. You think I should wear socks? What? Never mind. Let's make out and whip up more plans for mass slaughter. So I hear Dugan and Hill put your date with the Contessa on ice. Pepper Potts. My Girl Friday. Oh God, Pepper, don't remind me. She was wearing the Brackley thong made of the jewels that cost more than my Lamborghini. Could she spell Lamborghini? She's the only person in the world I trust with my company while I'm off playing superhero. Oh, good point. So here's what I want to do. Ever notice how your PC can act funny and you'll notice? An app takes a half-second longer to launch. It cycles longer on startup. Sure. I've started to notice little things with the suit. Not big enough to be glitches, not big enough to trigger my alarm bells, but something's up. If you're thinking the trouble is extremist based, and the extremist system stitches you into the armor, and the armor into the Stark data spine, that's a lot of fronts to be attacked. I'm about to run a high-impact raid. I want you to monitor my data feedback in real time and look for patterns. Is the middle of a raid really the best time to run fix on failed tests, Tony? No time like the present, Pep. Oh, and Pep, I'm sending some satellite shots to your station. There was an incident in Africa. Give it a couple of brain cycles for me. Find what I'm missing. You got it, boss. And hey, cotton and spandex, 3 for $9.99. Got them at Target. LAMBORGHINI. Have fun blowing up the bad guys. Oh, she just hitting on Tony there? What's going on? Tony doesn't notice her? She's pretty... Oh, okay. We'll see what's going on. I don't know this era of Iron Man, so I don't want to make any assumptions. Extremis links me and the armor. The Iron Man undersuit hides inside me. Extremis ties the whole thing together like an extension of my central nervous system. It's beyond bleeding edge tech, which puts me and the Iron Man exactly where we need to be. Good hunting, gentlemen. A day and a half ahead of tomorrow. So if it's acting a bit glitchy, well, there's no tech support to call, no software patches to download, so you test a lot on a fix on fail. Ignition. Which brings me to the fourth nightmare. That the Iron Man becomes disposable. Record Iron Man performance test now. Test starts. Cheap and replaceable like a cell phone. Unremarkable in every way. Common, banal. It breaks, toss it. In my head, I tell myself that it's because it's a highly specialized piece of equipment that needs to be absolutely controlled and regulated. But in my heart, I know that it's because without the Iron Man, I honestly wouldn't know what to do with myself. Nice try. Something's not right here. These guys are goons. These guys are clowns. I look like an angry robot from the future. These geniuses keep trying to shoot me. I doubt that they could bomb their way out of a paper bag, let alone... Note to self, work up some other ammunition beyond bombs, nerve agents, viral payloads, etc. Why bombs? Can we load this thing with airborne vaccines, or... Oh. Damn it. Focus, Tony. Tony? Kinda busy here, Pep. I got something on your Tabora thing, Tony. Crunch. Nice shot. Great illustration. I started looking for any Stark tech in use in the area. Turns out a 16-year-old girl activated a Stark phone account 6 minutes before the incident. Tony, she took a picture and sent it. It's been hanging on the mail serve ever since, unable to resolve. Route it through to my helmet. Oh, God. Oh, my God. And then there's the fifth nightmare. The big one. The bad one. That the person who would make the Iron Man cheap, easy to use, and disposable wouldn't be me. My biggest nightmare has come true. Iron Man 2.0 is here. And I'm not the one who made it. Solid. Very solid. Wow. Bravo, Matt Fraction. Bravo, you wrote something that I liked without Ed Brubaker. Without Ed Brubaker helping you, I mean. What I just read, this is what Marvel needed to do after Dan Slott's atrocious run. Not the Chris Cantwell bullshit. This had a little woke moment. It wasn't really woke. It was a little bit like, oh, like your underwear showing type thing. Like your flies down for your progressives. Like that whole moment. But then he turned out to be a villain. I kind of actually forgot about it. So I kind of grumbled when I came to it. And I think it's because I had preconceptions and I was kind of projecting onto the book. But now that I've read the whole thing, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I really like this. We're talk correctly, get the full screen off, bring up the chat screen, and get to the stream ending soon so we can talk about this book together. Let's see. Where were we? Okay, so we're Gillen. Comic says this was after Original Sin with Fury dead. Now you have to remember, Jimmy, I was out of comics for like 20 years, so I've heard of some of these big events, but I don't really have a lot of details of stuff. So when you say things like it was Original Sin, like I don't remember things that way. Things like this is when Captain America became a Nazi is more how I remember things, because I heard things on the sidelines, but I didn't pay attention to like this issue, this event, or things like that. This is the era when Tony was director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, says Marania. Now, you know what? On paper, hearing like Tony Stark director, like, I just want to roll my eyes. But with no Nick Fury, Tony Stark seems like the logical choice. He really does. Like, and in this book feels kind of right. Like I'm kind of, I'm an Iron Man I'm always a purist. Not just Iron Man, just any characters. And, I read Iron Man, what was it, in the 200s, I think, when I first came in, with right before the Silver Centurion armor came out. That's kind of my era. So I read all that time, and Iron Man was just like the big rich industrialist, or more of, I guess, a weapons maker, and, he had his armor, and he just basically every issue was fighting the bad guy, someone who's like trying to copy his armor. So it'd be like, oh look, in this issue Iron Man fights Crimson Dynamo, and this next issue he fights Titanium Man. They would just cycle through just various armor villains, and that was kind of the trope. Wasn't always the best writing, but for a teenage little kid, I just wanted to see badass dudes in like armor suits shooting missiles and laser beams at each other. The 80s were a simple time. Fast forward to today, I've never really been a big fan of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be honest with you, but if you're gonna have it, like having Iron Man, like Nick Fury being ahead of it's like, oh, okay, but Iron Man, just the way that Iron Man is, the modern Iron Man is he's very authoritarian. And I don't necessarily like that, but if you work for a government agency, aka S.H.I.E.L.D., that connects. Like I feel like, I would expect the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be that way. So evolving his character into that I find it interesting. I've been so out of touch with Iron Man for so long, I don't feel emotionally invested, so it's a lot easier for someone who's maybe always into Iron Man. Making that change might have been like, oh, what are you doing to my favorite character? So I admit that kind of bias, but I'm finding it interesting. I'm finding this, like, what happened, Marvel? I would be buying Iron Man today. I like Iron Man. I would love to. I was really crossing my fingers with Christopher Cantwell. We heard the news, like, oh, they're rebooting Iron Man. First, I rolled my eyes because I'm like, dude, you already rebooted him twice, like in a period of a year. You rebooted the series twice. The Bendis series was so effed up, and then you're like, oh, we're gonna reboot it and put Slott on it, and it was like even worse. I was like, you're failing to the extreme. And like, oh, I'm gonna reboot it a third time and put Cantwell on it, and I was like, well, maybe that's kind of a good thing. As much as I hate rebooting series, at least it allows people to jump onto something and not have to suffer through the misery of these books. But this is what you do. The art, Salvador LaRocca, like, I think the art in here is better than what I see him do today. Like, maybe Marvel doesn't pay like they used to. So Salvador's like, I'm phoning it in. Or maybe because Marvel expects shorter turnaround times. I don't know. But I don't think his storytelling ability is very great. But his illustration was outstanding. So that makes up for it. If you just draw really pretty pinup pictures, I can forgive the sequential storytelling ability. Plus the way Matt Fraction wrote with a really heavy-handed narrative, or a lot of verbal narrative, it made it so that LaRocca didn't have to like tell the story through the images because you're just reading it. So all in all, like, not the best thing I ever read, but fuck, it's been a long time since I read a good Iron Man. Let's see some Bao Chicka Wow Wow stuff. This is a cool area of Ezekiel staying in a Mandarin. So this is where Iron Man 3 gets its thing, obviously, right? Am I right? Is this the whole influence from the MCU of that character? Let's see. Comic Quirks with Jimmy says, I truly am going to buy the omnibus of this run next month. Wow. Jimmy became a believer. This book is just badass. And Marani's like, do it. Nice. Computer Robot says, I also forget to say that I also love the visual and artwork of the game. I'll admit that it does have bugs, but again, I am enjoying the gameplay aspect and the character select screen layout. Do you like how I give computer robots a robot voice? Remember Justin Hammer? That's his granddaughter. No, I don't remember Justin Hammer. Gosh, my memory of Iron Man is so outdated, and it's so confused by the MCU because I haven't read Iron Man in so long, and then when I see the movies, like it's completely replaced my understanding of the character. And you can tell here, these books, like, this is the, like, if not the MCU Iron Man, they're bringing that influence, and like I feel like they're shaping Tony Stark to be more like the Robert Downey Jr. impression, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think he gave Tony Stark a lot more personality. I think he went overboard in the later stuff, but the way he was in Iron Man 1 and 2 and like the first Avengers movie was solid. Matt Fraction is probably the best of the Portland Mafia, excluding Bendis, Obvi. He made me throw up a little bit in my mouth when you said Obvi. So zoomer. Probably the best of the Portland Mafia. Is there any... I don't know. I can't say you're wrong. I think this is better than Bendis by a mile. Like, there's a clear plot structure here, which Bendis seems incapable of doing. I really liked the dialogue between the various characters. I could actually tell who was talking just by the way the dialogue was written. Like, I felt like each character had an intonation. And when I'm telling you, when you read a comic book out loud, this is something most of you probably don't ever do. But when you read a comic book out loud, it really heightens the effect of writers like writing in personalities like in the dialogue. When you read in your head, your brain is able to process things a lot smoother and easier and like fill in gaps. Sometimes like when I'm reading out loud, especially when I'm doing this like panel by panel thing and all I see is a word balloon. I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck's talking. I'm supposed to read in character. Who is it? But when you're reading in your head, you might start reading with a neutral voice, and then as soon as your brain catches who it is, it switches over and it corrects, and you don't even notice it. You're like, oh, that's Batman talking, and it's like as if he was talking the whole time. But when you're doing it out loud, you can't do that. So it makes what I'm saying is it makes those things stand out more, and yeah. So I liked Fraction's dialogue for the most part. I like how he wrote Iron Man's personality. I'm curious about the Pepper Potts relationship. When I was reading Iron Man, I don't remember Pepper. Was she a big deal in the 80s? Maranya? I don't remember Pepper Potts. Was she just a wallflower? Was there a reason why? I'm so used to, of course, the movies dominating my impression of the character that I feel like Pepper Potts is a big thing. So seeing her in the comic book now, which I don't remember, and then seeing her be like the sideshow and Tony's talking to her about his sexual exploits is like, whoa, this is a weird relationship that I'm not used to. Let's see. Ronnie says, right, computer robots. And Ash, it fits that Stark is director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because back in the day, he designed weapons for them for years. That's also true. Good point. Melissa says, bye, guys. Night, guys. Goodbye, Melissa. Thanks for hanging out. This has been a long stream. That was a long book. I must have been like a double-sized first issue. So the rest won't be the case. I'm glad I found a couple of books to read. I feel really positive about these. I really like The Thief of Thieves, and the Iron Man is very fun. So I'm very happy. Let's see. Jimmy says, yes, this is the better Iron Man 3. Good, because I did not like Iron Man 3. So far I'm really liking it. I'll be open-minded. If Matt Fraction impresses me, we'll see. We shall see. But here's the thing. If and you know, jury's still out, I'm not going to just praise the guy because I read a book. But if he's consistently this good, and I've heard that he did a Hawkeye run that people really like. The two things that people talk about when I say Matt Fraction, like, well, did you read his Iron Man run? And then I'll be like, no. And they'll be, well, what did you read? Or the other one they say is, did you read his Hawkeye run? No. It's kind of like Bendis. Did you read his Daredevil run? Did you read his Ultimate Spider-Man? No, I don't. Those are the two that I need to read because those are the ones that get talked about. So I need to read those ones. But my point is, so if he's really this good consistently, why is he not getting work? Maybe Marvel pays too low? Okay. I guess Bendis was trying to bring him over to DC, and then they gave him Jimmy Olsen, which I fucking wanted to puke all over. I hated that Jimmy Olsen book. But, you know, different materials, different. Some writers can be strong in one thing and bad in another, you know? Like, so maybe that's just not his bag. I'm reading this and I'm just like, oh, I could see, I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe like Green Lantern book. I don't know what he might be. I haven't read enough of his stuff, but I'm enjoying this. So cool. And I'm glad I get to read some Iron Man because I know Ronnie doesn't get much Iron Man. I know she's read this before, but hopefully I can bring something to the table that gives her an experience that she did not have on her own. Pepper was off with Happy Hogan. What? Who she divorced later and then was involved with Tony again? Tony also had a fling with Maria. Lame. That's one thing I really hate about modern comics. Marvel and DC both. They seem to put like every character needs to sleep around with every other character. I feel like they have monthly meetings and they're like, okay, all right, which two characters haven't hooked up yet? Like, we got to find a way to pair them. You're like, just fucking stop. Quit making relationships hookup culture. Right? especially in this book. I mean, I barely saw anything, but what I know of Pepper Potts just from other other movies and other parts of comics, like, I want to see Tony and Pepper. I don't know, maybe I'm just a romantic, but I want to see characters together that feel like they're meant to be, not like fucking around all the time and never actually, just like the whole Marvel universe is just, they look around each other, all the heroes, and like, yeah, we all slept with each other at some point. Just a bunch of fucking hoe bags. I don't know. I don't like it. Fraction left Marvel because he started to write for TV and movies. Yeah, I'd heard about that. But obviously he's back in comics because he's doing stuff at DC. So, good for him if he can write good movies. That's what happens, unfortunately, when the industry doesn't pay people. You're never going to get quality. I'm happy to turn people into good runs of Iron Man, says Marania. Well, it's about damn time, let me just tell you. I'm glad I got to do this. I love being turned on to new things, and especially when it falls in that gap where I was out of sorts. It's nice to fill in those holes. And so now when people talk about, well, not now, but eventually when we finish this, and people talk about Fraction's Iron Man run, I'll be like, yeah, and I'll be able to join in the conversation. Tony was the playboy who did sleep around. He was an outlier for years. Yes, but the way they used to do it, Marania, was they would create some sort of female fling, right? Like it would be like, oh, we're going to make up this new character woman that now Tony's dating. It wasn't like, oh, now he's dating the Wasp, and now he's with Maria Hill. Oh, and now he's sleeping with Hellcat. Oh, and now it's like, what superheroine isn't he sleeping with? Like, they just, you know what I'm saying? Like that hookup culture. Like, if you want to create just some random woman, well, you can then play it off and be like, oh, it didn't work out. Right? Like Batman, right? He's got the romance with Catwoman. Vicky Vale can be written out of the picture, right? But if Batman had slept with, every other female character, it's like, oh, hey, Wonder Woman. Yeah, remember that time we were sleeping around? Oh, and then it's tough because I'm thinking of characters and I'm thinking like half of them are the Bat family. Like, ooh, that's not right. Fortunately, DC doesn't do it quite the same way, at least with their prime characters. They do a little bit more with their teen characters, but it's not quite nearly as bad the way Marvel is. But yeah, can you imagine Batman's like, oh, hey, Supergirl, I remember when we were hooking up. Wonder Woman, you too? Oh, yeah. Jeez. Ronnie says they keep dissing Pepper and putting in other genders into the book. Though if he's not paired up with Pepper, if Brittany Gabe was written well, she's also good for Tony. I like Pepper. And I like her better in this. That's a sign of some good writing. Pepper in this issue had like a handful of panels, and I already like her better than the stupid movie Pepper. I was thinking the other thing that they did with Tony was with Mary Jane. Oh God, it seemed like that stupid. Oh, Iron Man and Mary Jane. It's like, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do this, stupid Marvel? Your comics are eternal. Anyways, Jimmy says goodnight. That means it's time to go. It's really late. This has been a long episode. Thank you for indulging me and paying attention this far. I'm going to sign off now. I promise you I'll keep the next episode much shorter. But thanks for having fun with me. I hope you enjoyed the presentations of the books. I really did. Next episode will be Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Pacific. Monday night is the show with Skip. It's about indie books. Come join us. Skip and I have good fun. It's a much better show. We actually plot things out and plan it and have show notes, and it's not me just rambling on randomly like this show. So hope you can make it either way or both. So until then, same Ash time, same Ash channel. Take care and good night.